I woke up knowing today was payday. And so I wanted to use this video to kind of share my thoughts on money since I spent the last 11 months unemployed, kind of how I'm thinking about saving, spending, investing, and really just my thoughts about what to do with this paycheck. I just created this tab this morning, but basically it's looking at how my paycheck is broken down and what I'm paying in taxes, as well as just other deductions. So let's go into it. So my total paycheck was $47.91 plus this GTL, which I looked into it and it's a group term life. I don't know, but that's $260 here. So the total is $47.94. Now here we go and break it down by taxes and then our deductions. So federal taxes, Medicare, family leave insurance. Okay. And then we have New Jersey unemployment insurance. And seeing this now, I'm like, okay, we've always been paying into our unemployment insurance. And this is what qualifies you for unemployment when you are not working. And so seeing the $20 per paycheck, I'm like, yeah, go for it. Put the $20 because who knows when you might need unemployment. Social Security is $280. That's a pretty big chunk. State tax is $162. That's not so bad. And so total taxes is $910. Here you'll see the HSA, and that's because Ari and I are now enrolled in a high deductible health plan, which means we pay less on a monthly basis, but if we need some kind of medical coverage, that is a higher cost of entry. So I thought it would be good to just see how we do on a high deductible health plan, since we only have 6 months left of the year. And typically we wouldn't think this could be a good health plan with Ari and a lot of his medical needs. But because it's not the full year, we're okay kind of making that change or seeing how we adjust to it so that we can get access to the health savings account, which is the HSA. And that is a triple tax advantage account. So you don't pay taxes for it when it gets put into the HSA. You don't pay taxes on the growth that it acquires over the years that you have that HSA. And then when you withdraw the money, if you're using the money for health reasons, then you don't pay taxes on that money. So it's a triple tax advantaged account. And so that's something that I was like, okay, I want to just start investing already. And I didn't want to, well, we'll get into it, but that's the HSA. Dental, life insurance, medical, you'll see medical and dental significantly lower per paycheck than what I was paying for a month of just regular marketplace insurance. So that's nice. Vision, super cheap, $1. And then so the total deductions are $274, giving me a total take-home pay of $36.09. So that is my paycheck. That is how it's broken down. I didn't want to start or make a contribution to my 401k until I saw what this actual paycheck was going to look like, so I knew how much I could contribute into my 401k. Because one of my investing goals and something that I'm thinking about now that I have a job is I want to go hard on my investing, mainly because 401k did not get maxed out last year. I really didn't contribute to it for the whole year. I mean, if we're thinking about it, it was probably just the first 2 months of the year. And so I want to use and take advantage of these tax advantage accounts, right? I want to be able to start investing again. So that's how I'm thinking about the 401k. I do have access to it after 30 days. So in a couple of weeks, I'll be able to start fully investing in it. The amount I don't know, because ideally I'd love to max it out. But to max out your 401k in 2024 is $23,000, which broken down by the rest of the year that I have left comes to $4,600 a month. I think I did that math right. But I mean, that will drastically change what this paycheck looks like and what our monthly take home is. And so really need to see if that makes sense for us. Another thing I will share about the HSA is I learned that if you join mid-year and you sign up for a high deductible health plan mid-year, you can't fully, invest or max out that HSA based on the year contribution limit. It's prorated by when you sign up for the health plan. So because I've technically signed up for the high deductible health plan in July, I have July, August, September, October, November, and December, 6 months that it'll be prorated by, which turns out to be, for a family, which we are, about $4,000. So you can't max it out, or at least that's what I'm reading online. So that's something to think about. But yeah, that's my paycheck. I'm gonna go start my day because it is 8:55. So I'll come back on and chat with you about other money things I'm thinking about since coming out of this unemployment period. This is what payday lunch looks like. We started making our own at-home Chipotle bowls, and I love it. I think Ari's a fan too. So let's go have lunch. So first, let's talk about how I'm thinking about saving. I talked a little bit about my investment kind of goal. I definitely want to try to invest as much as possible in the 401k, but saving is different from investing, right? Saving is saving in those high yield savings accounts that I have quick access to money if I need it. And because when I started saving that emergency fund and my FU fund that prepared me to be unemployed for a longer period of time than what I had expected unemployment would be like, I feel the same way about my savings goals now. I know that I want to have at least a year of living expenses saved up to feel safe. And I know that probably sounds like a lot of money to have saved up. But what I realized is, yes, you're going to get unemployment. You're going to be able to get unemployment benefits if, of course, you've been paying into them. If, of course, like that was something that was being taken out of your paycheck. But there were certain things that we were not spending money on because we didn't have income coming in. And things like mental health, right? Like going to see a therapist, things like that, that we had to say, we're going to stop for right now because it's expensive. It is expensive. And so when I think about how much I want to have saved up, I want to be able to incorporate the things that actually I might need the most, the things that we might need the most. Because when you have no income and you're getting a lot of rejection or you're unsure of which direction to take your life, you might need that support that comes from professional therapy, professional, all of that. And if you have saved a minimum of expenses, those are the things that kind of fall from the budget, right? That you decide just, we're not going to prioritize. So definitely want to think about the year-long savings as what is going to make sure that we are okay across everything, right? We were not going to stop health insurance. We were not going to not have health insurance. And so again, knowing the cost of health insurance when you find something on the marketplace could be close to $1,000. Who knows? Like, how do we prepare for that? And so I feel like I will be saving more than I was before, or equally the same. I'm still super conservative when it comes to how much of my paycheck I want to be spending. So when it comes to saving for my emergency fund, for my FU fund, I am thinking about it in the same way, like 6 to 12, like 6 is minimum, 6 to 12 of living expenses in the emergency FU fund. The emergency fund and FU, those two are really different things, right? Emergency is like, I'm in a pinch, like let it figure out. FU is more of like, I want to take a 2-year sabbatical. That's what you're kind of saving towards an FU fund. So I guess in this case, it would be an emergency fund. In order to do that, I think it goes hand in hand with our spending, right? And I have mentioned this in previous videos, but it's so easy for you to start getting income and see a huge increase in your lifestyle, right? You start thinking, oh, well, now I can buy this stuff, or now I can, go on these vacations and I can start planning on, I was going on vacations while I wasn't employed. I get that. But I think you start thinking like you can have more and spend more than you were when you were unemployed. But given the fact that we are still a one income household, and this income is for 2 adults and not just one, we're still very much looking very closely at our spending, going to be tracking every dollar through Monarch Money, my tracker. All of that is still going to happen. I think another thing we are doing is deciding to continue to live here. So a decision we made in 2022 when Ari found a new job was like, okay, we are going to go or when we both found like newer, higher paying jobs, we decided to move out and move into our own place. And looking back, I don't regret that decision, but it was definitely one that we made because we're like, well, now we both have, 6-figure income. So like, let's get that apartment in Brooklyn that like we thought we wanted. Well, actually I knew I didn't want, but when you're part of a partnership, it becomes a discussion that both of you need to agree on. So I did agree on that. But now we're making the decision that we're going to stay here until the emergency fund is back to where we want it and we feel comfortable finding where we're going to go next. We're not going to make a quick decision before my partner gets a job, right? I'm not going to say, oh, now I have income. Let me go look at apartments and like sign a lease, even though I still do look at apartments. But it's more of like, oh, this would be nice. Ooh, this is the kind of apartment that I want. Not anything where I'm committed to actually signing a lease. So staying here, keeping that top 3 costs down, right? So the top 3 costs that really take on people's budget is housing, transportation, and food, right? So keeping that housing cost still very low is something we're going to continue to do. So in a way that's saving, but because we're not spending in that top 3, in that top 1 of 3. Whereas like the other categories like transportation, I think we do a okay job there kind of every 6 months seeing how our car insurance is looking, and food, we go over those in the monthly recap. So I don't need to express that again, but we're also monitoring that very closely. And I think that all ties to making sure we continue this habit that we've been having. And I think it's going to continue even after Ari secures his job, which is to have our monthly money dates, meet every week on Sundays, on Saturdays to talk about what food we're going to make this week so that we're not, wasting food, so that we're keeping our food grocery budget low, so that we can plan out our experiences instead of like last minute deciding we're going to get takeout. So those are some of the things that we're thinking about and still continuing to practice now that I got a paycheck. Yeah, so I think that like pretty much covers it. I feel like, my investing and saving strategy is definitely a little more like paranoid in a good way. I'm not like on edge, but I know that nothing lasts forever. And having experienced one layoff, I know I'm going to experience more, right? I feel glad that I am on the other side, but I am so grateful for having experienced that, because a lot of people, get to a later stage in life and experience it for the first time and maybe don't know how to cope. But having experienced it now, I know that I'll have the tools and the mechanism inside me to be able to deal with it again in the future. So all that to say is, you can't knock me out. Wait, what is that Kendall tool? You can knock me down, but you'll never knock me out. I think I got it. Anyway, Kendall's no longer at Peloton, so I'm sad. But yeah, this might close this video. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll have more to chat about, but there are obviously a lot of other things that are not money related, finance related, that this unemployment has taught me. So yeah, hopefully this helps. And if you are currently looking for a job, I am sending you all of my good vibes, good juju your way, because it's hard and I get it. It's so hard to like feel like you're getting rejected all the time, but you got this. All right, I'll see you all next week.